So switching gears entirely, in a world where it takes a village, feels more aspirational than realistic, unfortunately. Melanie Kahl is determined to make that adage a reality. Call her an innovation alchemist. She's passionate about cultivating chosen family. And Melanie invites us to imagine what's possible when we intentionally expand that web of supportive adults in children's lives. So get ready to rethink what modern kinship looks like.
Oh, lovely. Thank you for that introduction, Keely. And lovely to be with you all today. I am going to share on butter. So let me just make sure that I'm requested in. And all right.
Beautiful.
Wonderful. Everybody can see? Awesome.
More Auntie Mouth. 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 More Auntie.
That is one of my favorite sounds in the world. That's Gemma. She's my first official niece, my twin brother's daughter. I've been Mel, Aunt Mal by her little brother Quinn, and Auntie Mel. She's 3.5 now, and she lives in Detroit, and I live in Brooklyn, which is 10 hours by car and just under 2 hours by flight, or by freighter, maybe if the Erie Canal. She's very into freighters. But most of our love looks like this. At least 2 times a week, but sometimes up to 5, especially in very stressful times of civilization collapse. We're on these micro phone calls, hanging out, snacking, show and tell that's a little chaotic. And recently we just hit our attention span for a full-on story time. Oops. Our love looks like 30-second calls to show me your new pedicure while I'm in a workshop, like taking a picture when I'm on a flight and adding it to our shared albums because you love airplanes so much, like extending my stay an extra week, and setting up my work in your bedroom, like cooking and like care packages to celebrate your potty princess milestone. And then there's Collins. I have unofficial auntie duties too. She's my partner's oldest niece of 4 kids. And our love looks like on their 5th birthday, we began a tradition of them getting a whole day with 2 adults to adventure with. We do virtual smoothie and snack times. We bought her first knife, and we make lots of recipes and homemade butter. And I have unblood related auntie duties as well. This is my first auntie title, my college bestie's firstborn, Miriam. We do emojis and friendship bracelets, and she recently had her first trip to New York, where apparently I am very cool and much cooler than people in New York think I am. So I know. Oh, and she was very confused when I said that I was an auntie, that I became an aunt, because she thought I already was an aunt, her aunt. So by blood, partnership, or friendship, littles come into our life in all different ways. So I'd love to know in the chat if you have nieces, nephews, besties, friends, neighbors, you get it. Take a moment, tell me what your love looks like. Just a little snippet, big, small, anything. Creative. I'm going to just see what these look like. All right. Disneyland birthdays, presents, Nutella. I love it. Monster chase scenes, magic stickers. What you don't realize is that you're helping me keep it going. The rest of the talk, you're helping me with some research. When I started to share more about my aunting out loud, people began sharing with me. They felt seen and their love felt seen. And I learned that people were hungry for models, stories, and new scripts, and permission and encouragement to love beyond flattened stereotypes of this role and traditional notions of family. But when I looked at finding actual resources and research on this, I was shocked. Only of kinship research is focused on collateral, extended kin, alloparenting. I love it, Kenneth. Only 1%. And in the seminal book on generativity, which is like the adult life stage milestone you have to hit to have a good life, we list parenting, we list mentoring, we list service to our community, but we don't even list this role. It's not even the appendix. Yet people identify these as meaningful and important roles in their life. This role in these relationships matter, and we need them more than ever because our intergenerational and community and family life looks so different than it used to, and it's making us sick. Fewer people are starting families, and if they are, it's later and smaller and more spread apart. We have less intergenerational community with less than half people having church membership, low association scores, and we have a loneliness epidemic that's hitting parents and young people the hardest, all set to the backdrop of, well, you've been around the last week. We almost had an auntie in chief, but I won't go there. Maybe the answer is right in front of us. In the emerging field of early relational health, there's another set of numbers that stunned me. Kind of like that study a long time ago where if you had 500 books in your house, you're more likely to graduate from college, or how many words you heard. If you have 5 caring adults in your life as a child, you have better outcomes on a wide variety of indicators. And if 2 of those are non-parental adults that show genuine interest in who you are, that's even better. These relationships matter. They've been shown to bolster transitions, help little ones form identity, help extend opportunity, exposure, quite literally the world, increase resilience in times of crisis, and support the primary caregivers around the person. And it benefits us too because you find meaning and connection and perhaps just a longer life. We love each other into being and staying here. Like any good design researcher, I went looking at the gap in the most important place to find love, the internet. Saved as many TikTok videos I could find of people becoming aunts or uncles. Started asking questions on my stories to see if people had any ideas, questions, ways this looked in their life. And my friend Casper we enlisted ourselves, and he amplified to his community around ritual to identify new untraditional models. And I even reached out to my godmother, my mother's bestie from college, to interview her about her role in creative aunting in my life. And I was blown away, not only by how people were showing up, but by the level of creativity of this care.
My little sister had a little baby, tiny little baby, baby. My little sister had a little baby, tiny little baby, big old world. My little sister.
For making up songs and making gifts and writing long distance letters that became storybooks, creating ceremonies to go from boyfriend to uncle. There are so many of these, hundreds. I collected hundreds of them. And I've started to notice some patterns. We're not going to get to them in this talk. It's too short, but I'll give you a little preview. The 6 C's of creative kinship: care, commit, cadence, co-invest, celebrate, create. I reserve the right to totally rewrite these and rewrite them together. You can take a little screenshot here. I'm not going to get into some of them, but just some that are different, right? That allow us to put a little skin in the game besides being a meme of a rich aunt or a faraway gunkle is committing, marking with conversation, name, ceremony, co-investing, putting some skin in the game. I met people who had an investing club with their nephew. I have investing accounts for my littles and want to sponsor their first trip around the world because that's what helped me learn. Because love shared grows and it returns. that Gunkle Girls weekend that you so carefully put together just might become
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir. We made it to a French restaurant in San Diego, of all places.
Merci beaucoup.
might become that
We had some wine and a good martini.
It might become that life-giving date that you take an older person on when you're older, or that auntie camp so carefully planned might become your own day. You're separated. So aunts, uncles, odd folks, big friends, remember, we love each other into being. Be someone's too. You can read more, these links, and geek out and get in touch.